Welcome to the Fox 54 Weekend Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. It's the only place in North Alabama to get the week's local headlines condensed into one program. Here's a taste of what's ahead. Our top story this week, Fox 54 sat down with Decatur's new police chief, Tory Mack, and Deputy Chief Eric Stisher to hear about their plans for the city and how they plan to work together to achieve them. I sat down with newly sworn in Decatur Police Chief Tory Mack and his brand new Deputy Chief Eric Stisher earlier today. I asked them about their plans for the department and how they plan to address the various challenges DPD faces. Both Mack and Stisher come to Decatur from Birmingham Police Department, where Mack served as a captain and commander of the Special Enforcement Division and Stisher a lieutenant. Mack was sworn in just last week after being appointed by the City Council, who had Mack as the only remaining candidate after the others dropped out of the running. Shortly after his appointment, Mack pitched the Deputy Chief role to the Council. They approved both the position and Stisher at last week's Council meeting. And they have quite a long history. I was able to sit down and talk with them and learn more a little bit about them. Here's a listen. Nearly 30 years at Birmingham. You served as captain. Why Decatur Police Department?
I saw the friction. I saw the stuff going on throughout the city between the community and the police department, and I just felt like I can be that change agent to help mend it together.
How do you plan to implement that change?
We're having fruitful dialogue, getting the police department to buy in, to be intentional, going out, visiting the citizens of Decatur, pop up at businesses, just introducing myself, telling my goal, my plans, asking questions such as, what are your expectations of your police chief?
Yeah, and I understand you all go way back. You told me that you served in the military together.
Two people from Birmingham, Alabama, ended up in Gießen, Germany. Knew of each other, ran the same circles, same mentors. 2 years later, and several years later in '95, he came to Birmingham and joined the police department, and I came and joined the corrections team.
Why did you decide to come join Chief Mack as Deputy Chief?
So, well, I got to talk to my wife. Another 2-minute conversation. She said, if it's with Mack, let's go. So here I am.
Did you read the third-party review?
Yes.
Do you think that Deputy Chief Stisher will help alleviate some of those administrative duties so that you can focus on community policing?
80% outer department, 20% inner department. That's me. I'm gonna be outside for 80% of the time, trying to bridge the gap. His is reverse. He's running operations, so he'll be inside 80% of the time, 20% outside. Deputy
Chief Stisher, how do you hope to fulfill your duties here in Decatur?
Yeah, so it's my responsibilities, my duties, excuse me, is the day-to-day operations of the department. So coming in the door, I have to create relationships with the Decatur police team, supervisors, mid-level supervisors, and officers. I have to get an understanding of the current operations of the police department to make my job successful. And one of the things that was part of the third-party review was training. So I have to get with the training sergeant here and see what the past training was and see what kind of training we need to implement in the future.
I'm sure you're aware of the John Daniel Scott case.
We met, we went to go see his mother.
Okay. When?
When was that? Monday.
This past Monday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I told you we're gonna be very intentional. And that's part of getting out, doing pops up. I called. I just wanted to lay, and I talked to her. Ma'am, I just want to lay eyes on you. We talked. I suggested some things to her. But I ended up by saying, God don't make no mistakes. Now you have to make yourself a priority. Meaning, you'll never forget, you just have to find coping mechanisms to help you get past each day.
Both Chief Mack and Deputy Chief Stisher say they plan to expand on-call personnel who help assist with mental health crisis calls. They also say they met with the Perkins family. It's been a big week in Madison. Municipal candidates joined residents for a meet and greet, and the school district announced both a rezoning plan and new rules for cell phones.
While state elections are heating up, local elections are quickly approaching. And it's officially campaigning season for several municipal candidates. Madison residents had the opportunity to meet those candidates running for office in their city earlier today. Let's Vote Madison allowed residents to meet their candidates to get more information on who they'll potentially vote for later this year. This was an equal opportunity for candidates to meet members of the public and discuss items important to them.
Local elections is where it starts, it's where it matters. And so, I want to make sure that people have an opportunity to come out, they can ask questions, I can learn from them to see what kind of interests they have, what kind of needs they have for the community.
Our government is made for the people, it's by the people and for the people. And so to have the candidates out here to communicate why they want to run, what value they believe that they bring to the table, as well as talking to constituents, understanding what the issues are, making sure that, if you're running, you ought to be understanding of what the issues are, what you can do about that, what ability you bring to the table to help solve those problems.
The way to get elected in a municipal election is to walk, knock, and talk. We have to have interface and communication with our constituents.
It's an opportunity to meet the constituents. I'm all about finding out what it is they want me to do if I'm elected to represent them. Do they want us to manage our spending? Do they want us to take care of the schools? What it is they want, because I represent the people.
I want to listen, I want to share what I hear from my constituents, and I want to bring that to those around me.
Communication is key. It's so important for me to tell you what traffic studies we're doing, what road constructions we're doing, where are we putting roundabouts, where are we putting traffic lights, how can we help you move through the city faster.
I think the opportunity always to meet your local candidates is so important. And this event, Let's Vote Madison, actually gives that to the voting constituents that are here in the city of Madison. Madison has grown quite a lot. Some districts lines have changed in the last census. And so we've got an organization here that's actually showing people where their district lines are, where they vote, how they vote, get them registered to vote.
These candidates will all be on the ballot for the election set for August 26th. Madison residents have until August 11th to register to vote.
Madison City Schools making some changes to the zoning across the district, potentially affecting thousands of students. Some parents saying they have to uproot their children's education, but the school system says the rezoning is necessary. It's all because of a new school the district is building on Madison Branch Boulevard, the Russell Branch Elementary School. MCS decided to rezone the district to mitigate overcrowding and make sure everyone receives the same quality education. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo has more from MCS.
The goal for the redistricting is to incorporate the future Russell Branch Elementary School into the existing Madison City Schools system. It's part of mass growth and development to Madison's residential areas and subsequently the local schools. Superintendent Ed Nichols says it's necessary to keep balance and prevent overcrowding.
Just in the last 4 years, 2,000 new homes, 2,000 more apartments, not counting our section of Triana. If we don't adjust those, then we will end up significantly overcrowded. We also won't be able to maintain our balances that have kept our two high schools in the top 2%.
A recent increase in acreage allowed the school system to expand several facilities, including building the future Russell Branch Elementary School and adding on to Bob Jones High School. But some parents are upset by the changes, saying many people moved to Madison to go to the schools nearest to their homes.
There's no sense behind the rezoning on my neighborhood because it's so close to the current school that we go right now and even to the middle school. I'm not gonna go drive to the other side of the city blocks just for my kids to go to school. Right now, our current elementary, middle, and high school is what it works.
Superintendent Nichols says he knows it's frustrating, but all of Madison's schools have similar, if not the same, resources.
Nobody likes to move, and we understand that, but we also remind folks that our elementary schools, all 7 of them, are in the top 4% of elementary schools in this state. Our middle and high schools are in the top 2%. So even though they might have to leave a school, they're going to get to go to a great school.
They broke ground on the site behind me back in October. They expect the project and the redistricting to be finished by the start of the school year in 2026. In Madison, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The rezoning has 3 potential plans. They're not locked into just one yet. The school system has a survey for parents to decide which plan they like the best. You can find a link there on our website, fox54.com. Madison City Schools is tightening its rules on cell phones and other wireless devices to comply with Alabama's newly signed FOCUS Act. The district already restricts usage during class time, but the new policy goes even further, banning use, operation, and even possession of many wireless devices throughout the entire school day, including lunch, class changes, and other non-instructional periods. Our Ken McCoy explains how the district is preparing for those changes.
A law meant to limit distractions in the classroom is now creating one of its own. The new state-mandated FOCUS Act requires students to power off and put away any wireless communication devices completely off their person while on school grounds. But enforcing that, not so simple.
What I hope it doesn't do is take away some instruction time. I don't want teachers and administrators spending time dealing with a new law and all the intricacies of it, and that literally takes them away from focusing on instruction.
The law does allow for exceptions, like classroom activities or medical needs, but they must be clearly documented.
Teachers can use laptops or ask students to get out their wireless devices to use in an educational purpose. It also outlines that if there are medical issues, that through a 504, an IEP, or other document.
Superintendent Dr. Ed Nichols says Madison City Schools is working to bring their existing policy up to standard after their first reading of the law this morning.
The law does also outline that the schools are supposed to have consequences. We're looking at that possibly being a Class 2 offense. That could be an in-school suspension. It could be a loss of other privileges on the campus. I think that's where most school systems are in the state right now, is they're trying to figure out how to respond to the law and what they need to do to ensure.
And while district leaders know the changes may cause some concern, the message to families is simple. They didn't choose this, but they must follow it.
It's a big change. And I just would say to them, well, we're going to work through this. Please know that it wasn't, we had a policy in Madison and we were happy with our policy. This is a law that we have to go by, and we will, but we also are going to make sure we work with our kids and communicate it.
The school board will continue the conversation and work toward a clear enforcement plan at their next meeting. In Madison, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
The district says while much can't be done to change how they move forward, parents will have a chance to voice any concerns they may have. Last Saturday's rain couldn't stop 2 big celebrations. Redstone Arsenal celebrated the Army's 250th birthday, and the local LGBTQ community gathered at River City Pride.
Rain or shine, Redstone Arsenal celebrated a birthday bash tonight to commemorate 250 years of the U.S. Army. There were vendors, food trucks, and fireworks, and yes, even a cake. Pilots even flew in an Apache helicopter to the amazement of crowds, and towards the end of the evening, the Golden Knights made an appearance, parachuting into the party, some describing about what it was all about.
This is basically the central hub as far as when new systems come up, when it relates to aviation, specifically like to the Apache and the Chinook and the Blackhawk. There's a lot of testing that goes on here, and then partnerships that we have within the community and other agencies that are here that come all together to put that together, and then being able to bring it out here to the public to see that hard work of everything that Huntsville has to offer. It's great. It's a good deal. We love doing it. We love seeing the crowd watching as the aircraft comes in, all the phones come out, all the pictures come out, and it's a really great feeling, to be able to demonstrate, one, what the aircraft can do, and then just bring excitement and energy to a crowd.
This is the stuff that we still have in the Army, the helicopters, the vehicles, the equipment, bringing it down to the micro level of what the real Army does, you know, and not just the development and the research and the technology and what the next thing will be. It kind of gives you a sense of like the real Army is still there and active and doing their thing, and how we support it here from the Arsenal.
It's a pretty good idea. You know, it gets people more connected, and it lets the community know what the Army actually does. So it gives us more in-depth, information about the stuff that they build, the stuff that's out here. You know, what we have in this area, how important the Arsenal is to this area. You know, and as you know, the Arsenal has brought in a lot more people, a lot more homes. You know, so it builds up this whole area: Huntsville, Madison, Mildred, all that. So it just lets us know what's going on in this area, how it's growing and why it's growing.
It doesn't matter where you go. I grew up as a military brat, so everywhere I went, I lived on base, and I always had a family, friends, someone that I always had a close connection to because we were in the military or the Army, so you make friends everywhere. So it's a big, huge community.
All right, even with the wind knocking over several of the vendors' booths, a little bit of rain couldn't stop the celebration. Despite the severe weather, Pride Month kicked off with color, joy, and connection in Decatur this weekend. River City Pride 2025 took over Ingalls Pavilion Saturday, turning the space into a hub for love, acceptance, and community. From good food to local vendors, the event was a celebration of unity and a reminder of what it means to show up for one another.
Today's event was to celebrate our beautiful diversity, to celebrate every person who identifies as LGBTQIA in any other way, just to celebrate human beings and the togetherness. Especially right now in the really just divisive political climate, it's good for us to be seen and to be neighbors with all people in community. Southeastern Diversity Project is about building community and not a segregated place off to the left or off to the right, but a place where we all recognize each other's worth and value and come together. And our theme this year was Together We Rise, because we truly believe in that together we are lifting each other up and overcoming all of this divisiveness. It's almost completely a grassroots effort at this point, but it is growing everyday people just giving every little bit that they can to help this community and to support each other when they need it. And then we do have some corporate sponsors like GE and like T-Mobile who also pitch in to help and make sure that every person that they are servicing in their business recognizes that they are seen, valued, and supported as well. How important it is that the LGBTQ community be together and strong. Yes, in our broader community, but also let's, as brothers and sisters under that beautiful rainbow, love each other and support each other in every way that we can.
One event that did feel the impacts of the weather was Hydrofest, but despite wind, rain, and accidents, boats got on the water, thrilling thousands of fans.
Hydrofest wrapping up after 3 days of attempted racing on Lake Garnersville. All races were canceled yesterday after a heavy rainstorm swept through the Tennessee Valley. They picked it up again this morning, but racers still had trouble getting their boats on the water. FOX54's Caleb Aguayo has the story.
Some rough weather and 3 boating accidents set this year's Hydrofest on high alert. The racing was delayed for most of the afternoon because of high winds, causing the water to whitecap as waves here at the lake reached their peaks. According to organizers, that wind and those waves caused 2 of the boats to flip over this morning. They're hoping to finish everything out once that wind settles down.
The wind has a lot to do with what the water's doing. When the wind's calm, the water's calm, you got a nice easy day. It starts to blow, it churns things up for you and makes things interesting. A little different when you're going 200 miles an hour, obviously.
But on the shore, hundreds of people turned out to spend some time enjoying the day. Even without the racing, people got to relax with their families, eat, and even play in the water. Attendees and organizers tell me it's a huge event.
This is the most spectators I've ever seen at a race, so I got to tell you that. It's a beautiful place. Unfortunately, the wind's hurting us today, but it's some great racing. They shut down the streets the other night, I heard, for this. So this is a big deal. And what they do and the support they get from the sponsors, it's just amazing. It really is. It's an incredible event.
We have, thousands of people coming to our area, staying in our hotels, going to our restaurants, shopping at grocery stores. We have People coming from nearly 30 states, even internationally from Canada, New Zealand, and even one from Bermuda as well. This is the biggest event in Marshall County, and like I said, that $3 million, that's a lot for this small town.
Some attendees say they're just concerned for the racers who did get the chance to compete, but who flipped over in the windy, choppy water.
I want to thank all of the boat drivers because they could get injured bad, but they still come out and do it for us.
According to event organizers, all 3 of the flipped boaters were rescued without serious injuries. In Guntersville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
A new report this week on Alabama kids highlighted some troubling trends, placing the state 43rd for child well-being. We find out what this all means. Alabama has topped some lists for a number of good things, but this next list we're about to show you is where we rank low, and it's quite alarming. Alabama ranks 43rd in the country for child well-being. It's according to the new 2025 Casey Foundation Kids Count study, tracking 4 domains that apply to the health and welfare of our children. And here are those 4 domains. The state found itself in the bottom half of the list in all 4 categories: economic well-being, education, health, and family and community. But progress has been made throughout the state in certain areas, such as family and community, scoring in the better category. Those scoring categories are better, same, and worse. Well, Fox 54 spoke with the Alabama director for Kids Count about one area where the numbers have stagnated.
While the child poverty rate has not gotten worse, it hasn't gotten any better. It's really remained stagnant for the last 20 years, and that's hovering around 21 and 22%. So about 1 in 5 children in Alabama live in poverty.
Alabama Kids Count Director April Hartsfield says as cuts are made to federal programs such as SNAP, there's a concern that child poverty may get worse.
Those investments are really important to maintain what we have, and further investments will, we feel like will bring improved numbers across the board. Cutting those back obviously goes the opposite way, and that's not something we want to see happen.
In the report, education showed a 4% jump in 8th graders falling behind in math.
What we're now seeing is while these students who are in the 8th grade in this particular data set are behind the curve.
But Hartsfield says that students in 4th grade are expected to improve once they make it to 8th grade.
We saw these numbers earlier this year with the report from NAEP. The current 4th graders, or the 4th graders who just left the 4th grade, their scores improved significantly in a year.
Hartsfield also says the state reveals a drop in children living in high poverty areas, which is different from child poverty, focusing more on a child's surroundings.
That will have a positive compounding effect as they move throughout life. When we are able to provide a safe and secure and stable environment for our children, they function a lot better, which means that they are ready to go to school and learn.
Hartsfield added that the more both state and local communities invest back into programs that help children, the numbers will improve over time. A proposed sewer rate hike could see Huntsville residents pay $15 more each month, helping fund a multi-million-dollar capital plan, which would bring much-needed improvements to the city's current facilities. It was discussed at tonight's City Council meeting, where Fox 54's Gabe Glassman was there to listen in on the discussion.
Huntsville residents could start paying around $39 a month for their sewer bills. It would be a $15 increase gradually over a 9-year period.
Be the first rate increase City Council would have voted on or considered for our sewer since 2005. We expect, our house to operate and be in the comfort that we see daily. So in order to do that, we must reinvest and constantly upgrade, change out equipment, our treatment facilities, our collection system.
The average sewer bill currently sits at $24.15. The ordinance discussed on Thursday will bring a $5 increase to those numbers. Starting in 2026, another dollar or so will be added, ending in 2034, bringing the new average to a staggering $39.15, a whopping $15 increase in 9 years.
We believe the rate being proposed at $5 a month increase of the average customer will allow us to stay in good standing with regulatory agencies, but continue to make investment into the existing system.
While this is an increase over the next several years, Huntsville Director of Urban and Economic Development Jane Davis mentions residents still pay below average compared to the rest of North Alabama.
Today's average, just in our own region, is around $52. The state average is about $53. So we think being able to be proactive, continue to invest in our system to be in good compliance and have a reliable system to our customers and still keep rates low 10 years from now, being well below what the average rate is today, it is good fiduciary system of operation and maintenance.
This proposal, however, is not set in stone just yet. The City Council deciding to table discussions until the next City Council meeting on June 26. In Huntsville, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
If the City Council approves the rate increases, residents would start to see new pricing on their September payments of this year. And let's wrap up this week with a special moment in Ardmore where a longtime restaurant worker got a big surprise. What started as a normal staff meeting for employees at a restaurant turned into the surprise of a lifetime for one longtime worker. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman takes us to Ardmore, where at Mildred's, today's special was special indeed.
How many years did you say you'd been here?
Almost 11 years with Mr. Dan.
Meet Patricia Watson, known around here as Red. She's been working the buffet at Mildred's in Ardmore for more than a decade.
We are a very, very busy restaurant there, and she is our captain of the buffet. I mean, she's filling it up, she's keeping it fresh, she's keeping it stocked. She does an outstanding job. I have other locations that it takes 2 and 3 people to do what she does.
Dan Holt owns the local favorite food spot, and though he's given Red a raise several times over the years, he never feels it's enough.
She's real humble and a sweet and wonderful human being. She's always tells me I take good care of her, but, you know, I always just felt like, you know, I want to do more for somebody who puts that kind of effort into what we do.
And so the would-be typical staff meeting on this particular Friday turned into something much more, a once-in-a-lifetime surprise for Red.
Sitting right outside is brand new coffee.
Dan handed over the keys to a 2025 Nissan Rogue, and of course, it had to be Red.
It was surprising because I had never got one like that. Never. That was my first new car my whole life.
You can't explain how happy that can make you when you do something like that for somebody, but it's someone who really deserves it.
And this moment will be on replay in their minds for years to come. In Ardmore, Alabama, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Congratulations to Red, well deserved. Count on Fox 54 Plus to bring you more great programming with in-depth local specials, locked on sports, true crime, cooking shows, wellness experts, and continuing weather coverage. For everyone at Fox 54 News, I'm Kenesha Dees. Have a fun and safe weekend.